Hey there. I am an American in Bangkok. I am Scott. Listen, I got a message from a guy the other day, and a good question from him. The dude always has good questions. He's been a member of my member site there for quite some time, and very straightforward dude. He's here. He started following my videos before he moved to Thailand. Now he lives in Thailand. He's got himself a little lady, as Bill Burr says. And if you know who he is, you should. He's a funny motherfucker. He's doing well. But he writes me or he wrote me and said, my question deals with hospitalization in Thailand. And this is a serious question, no fucking around here. Having had a rather checkered past health-wise, I am very concerned about being stuck with $30,000 in medical bills, as in one recent horror story that's been in the local paper here in Pattaya. My understanding is that the bill is due and payable in full when you leave the hospital. Now, he's referring to, I'm pretty sure he's referring to the woman who had a motorcycle accident, and she ran up something like 35,000 pounds of medical bills, and her parents had to help her to be able to pay the bill off because she didn't have the insurance, and she didn't have the funds, and, she was calling up mom and dad. So, it is a very... it's definitely a concern. And let me just read on what he says here. Is there no such thing as a payment plan here? I also know that the hospitals can hold your passport until you pay up. This obviously opens up a Pandora's box of legal horrors that I don't even want to think about. If payment plans can be worked out, that solves many problems. Otherwise, there is definitely trouble ahead. Any observations will be appreciated. Well, this is a great question. Really, this is an excellent question. Technically, you're supposed to pay the money when you leave, the full amount. Now, when I was in the hospital, I fell from the fourth floor of my apartment complex. There was a fire. They gave me a rope. The fucking rope broke. Cunts. Of course, everybody else was too much of a pussy, or they were either too smart to grab the rope and go down. The rope was like, it was thick as my cock. It was like this. And the thing snapped. Fourth floor, baby. We did the Superman. Hit the deck. Popped up in the air. Fell on my back. I was out. And I was in a coma for 4 days. Now, when I woke up, I was like, hey, what the fuck, man? Where am I? And I looked at myself and I went, holy shit. I feel like shit. I look like shit. I'm like, give me some more morphine. Fuck me, man. This sucks. I had all kinds of broken bones. I was just fucked up. Fractured skull, fractured ribs, fractured fingers, wrist, compound fracture of my fingers, and, fractured hip, and blah, 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 blah. I had I don't know what it was. I guess I had a punctured lung, and they had a tube in my lung that was draining the blood, and I was just fucked up. So, when I woke up, it took me a day or two, and I was like, oh, fuck, man. I didn't renew my insurance because it was too expensive. What am I going to do? I was like, well, the place I'm staying should have insurance. Because, first of all, they had, the fire escape was locked, so you couldn't use it. Wonderful. The fire extinguishers were empty. So guess what? You couldn't put the fire out. You had to wait for the fire department, which... that didn't happen very quickly. Basically, if something like that happens, you're fucked. You're on your own. You better figure you're on your own. I figured I'm on my own. I'm like, hey, I tried carrying my kid through the hallway, and this big wall of black smoke came at us, and I went, my kid's going to die. He was only about a year old at the time. I said, it was Alex, and my wife was pregnant. I said, my kid's going to die because smoke asphyxiation is what generally kills people in fires. I still remember the old stop, drop, and roll commercials, and I went, time to turn around. So I turned around, went back outside, and I'm telling them, put some mattresses down. Come on, man. Get 10 mattresses and throw them down. Of course, they probably didn't want to take the mattresses out of the room. It's too fucking expensive. Yeah, okay, so we died because of it then, you fucking morons. So what do? They come over with a big rope. Here, everybody's like, oh, fuck that, I'm not going down there. I'm like, give me that fucking thing. I figured if I make it to the 3rd floor, I'll be better off. If I make it, then maybe from there I can make it to the, maybe I just take a little break and I get to the 2nd floor. And then I can find out how to get my wife and my kid out of that situation. I thought, I'm not going to let them die up there. I was trying to be brave. I think I was more stupid than anything. Because I could have just waited for another 15 minutes or however long it was, and I would have been okay. But, when I fell, I hit the deck, and I was all fucked up. And then some guy came into my room, and he said, oh, don't worry, we take care of everything, don't worry. I said, okay, good. A couple days later, the lady from the finance department of the hospital came in and said, oh, listen, we want to know how you're going to pay for this. I said, hey, call up the fucking guy at the apartment. He's going to pay everything. So she calls him up. Oh, no, he's not paying for everything. He'll pay 30,000 baht. I said, well, how much is my fucking bill? It was like 120,000 baht at that time. I said, fuck me, 120,000 baht. I said, shit, I don't have that much in cash. I'm like, this is going to be a pain in the ass. So they wanted me to make a payment. And I said, I'm not paying shit. You want to throw me out? Throw me out. They kept me in. Of course, they're trying to get their money. And they're like, oh, they're fucking horrible when it comes to how they deal with people. Because I've had several instances where I had insurance. I had William Russell insurance, and they fucking approved everything. And the people were still like, oh, can you pay us? I'm like, fuck you. I'm not paying you shit. William Russell Insurance is a great insurance company, and they fucking covered it, and they told you they were going to cover it. So don't try to get the money out of me, you fucking cheap pricks. I understand that they're trying to, it's a business, but, it's like, hey, the insurance says they'll pay it, they'll pay it. It ain't my fucking problem now. They approved it, they said they would pay it, you took care of me, now live up to your end of the bargain and stop trying to fucking weasel me out of the cash. So I didn't have insurance at this time, so basically I said, listen, I don't have the cash. I got like 20,000 baht. My bill was, I don't know, it was about 5 grand, 6 grand or something like that. It's like, I got like 600 bucks. That's it. Well, when can you pay it? I said, I don't know. I'm going to have to transfer money from America. I'm going to have to see how much money I got. I'm going to see, what the deal was. I didn't have a whole lot of money. So they said, well, give us your passport. I said, yeah, okay. I gave him the passport. Now, knowing what I know now, I probably would have just said, fuck you, I'm leaving. If you don't like it, here's my address. It's a civil matter. I don't believe it's a criminal matter. So, you want to call the police? Call the police. I don't give a fuck. Go ahead. Because I did that once before. I said, listen, I live right down the street. Alex had a problem he had to have taken care of. The insurance company covered everything. I didn't have to pay a fucking dime. And they still were like, oh, can you pay this? Can you pay? I'm like, fuck you. I'm not paying anything. That was it way to me. I said, I'm not paying anything. I'm leaving. Oh, no, please, sir. Don't go. Just wait. I said, fuck, okay, I'll wait. A few more minutes, that's it. I said, my kid doesn't feel good. I'm taking him home. If you don't like it, go call the fucking police. I don't give a fuck. I got pissed off. But please. And fortunately, this girl came up. She's very young, cute girl, spoke very good English, and she said, please, can you just wait until we just double check with the insurance that's going to be paid? I said, I'll wait for like 5 or 10 minutes, that's it. And just a couple minutes later, they came and said, okay, it's completely covered. I said, okay, cool. But I didn't like that. And in my case, I gave them my passport. And, I don't know, a couple weeks later, I had the money. I paid them off. But in the interim, my visa was going to expire. So I had to go to them and say, please trust me. I will take my passport. I will go get my visa. But I have to do it or I'm going to be overstayed. And then I'm really going to be fucked. And they allowed me to do that. Now, one thing that you may be able to do, if you're really in a bind, I'm not saying that you should do this, but if you really get into a bind, what you can do is you can give them the passport, say, okay, I'll be back. And, as far as payment plans go, it's about what you can negotiate. Okay, so it depends on the person you're dealing with. It depends on, are you willing to give them your passport? Depends on how long it's going to take you to pay them. I know another guy who had $800,000. They did not want to let him out of that fucking hospital. That was way too also. Now, that's why I think they're a bunch of cunts there. They got some good doctors. They take good care of you. But as far as the administration goes, they're a bunch of cunts, in my opinion. They wouldn't let him out, and he had to beg them to let him out so that he can go and take care of things, so that he could get the money transferred from Germany, and he could pay them. And he was all fucked up. I mean, he had a heart attack or something. So anyway, it's about what you can negotiate, first of all, which that's not very comforting, I know. But what you could do is you could give him the passport and say, yeah, I'll be back in a week. You go to your embassy. You say, I lost my passport. They're going to say, get a police report. You tell the police report, oh, I just lost it right down the street here. You don't tell them you lost it at the fucking hospital. I just lost it right down the street here. They say, okay. You get the police report. You go back to the embassy. They give you a new passport. Then you got to go back to immigration, get your visa stuck in there again. They'll have a record of your visa. They'll stick it in there. Because the hospital is not going to go and put everything in the computer and get everything set up to where the police know, immigration knows. It's not going to happen. So, boom, you got your passport now. You got a valid visa. And either you have a passport to go in and out of the country if you need to, or leave if you need to. But if you want to pay them, obviously it's great. You got a passport, you can go around. If you don't want to pay them, well, I mean, it's a risk because you could probably leave the country, but it might mean having a headache when you come back. Because if you come back and they file some kind of a suit, somehow they may find out, immigration may find out, they may see you on some kind of a list or something. I don't know how it works, really. I don't think that they're interlinked, but I think there's always a chance, especially if it's a huge sum of money, because they could say that you acted in a fraudulent manner or whatever, But, hey, listen, you got to do what you got to do sometimes, but I would suggest, that's why I always suggest to have insurance. Fortunately, I have insurance. My family has insurance. It's not a whole lot of money. I mean, you can get a halfway decent insurance for $50 a month. If you look around, that's Bupa, that's Blue Cross. Depends on your health, depends on your age and everything else. But if something like that happened to me, I would hope that I would have enough coverage to allow me to be stabilized here, and then I would probably have to fly back to the United States and go into the VA hospital, which is not all that comforting, but the one comforting thing is that I wouldn't have to pay. So for me, that's a good thing. Now, in this guy's case, he's an older guy, and getting insurance is troublesome. So it is a bit of a problem. But I would say that there are some Thai insurance companies. I'm not sure if it was AIA. I had one that was really easy to get, and there are some others that they will allow pre-existing conditions, but you're gonna have to pay through the nose, man. And that's there's no way around it when it comes to medical insurance. If you've got a lot of pre-existing conditions, you're fucked, especially if you're older. Which is why one reason that in the end I may move back to the United States is because if my health goes, I don't want to be in Thailand. I mean, it depends on how bad you are. It depends on how bad your condition is and how costly it is. It doesn't even really matter how bad it is. It matters how costly it is. The last thing you want is $500,000 of hospital bills in Thailand. You don't want that. Now, if you're in the United States, for sure they're going to sue you. They're going to put a collection agency after you. They're going to try to go after you. But you're not going to go to jail. Nothing's going to happen. Where here, I'm not so sure what will happen. But I think if you're back in your home country, you're better off. So, like I said, I'm not saying that you should do what I said, but I do know a couple of people that have done that. And fortunately, in my case, the amount wasn't all that much. I mean, it wasn't huge. If it had been $60,000, I probably wouldn't be in the country right now because I couldn't have afforded it. And what are you going to do? I guess you could own up and say, hey, whatever happens, happens. That's one thing to do. But it's better off if you can get the insurance, somehow scrape together the cash and get insurance. And in this guy's case, maybe he can get some kind of a travel insurance that will cover him for 3 months at a time or something like that, and it won't be too costly. But I don't know, because he's a retiree, and I don't know how that would work if they would check up on him and everything. But it is worth looking into. So I would suggest that you really look into this and talk to the insurance companies. They're a fucking pain in the ass. I hate insurance companies, but you got to do what you got to do for your own well-being here and your own safety. Another alternative is to go to some other country, retire, where they give, like after a year, or if you invest a certain amount of money, you get insurance. Like I believe in Ecuador, that's what they do. So, it's not flawless. The coverage is not all comprehensive. It's not comprehensive. It's not all encompassing. But I believe it's pretty good. So, whatever, I don't know what else to tell you other than that. So, I guess until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Stay healthy and choke di la jerken mai.